And folks, welcome back to Unwoken, telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you motherfuckers who don't want to listen. Here today with Mr. Pacman James.
What's going on,
What's
Scotty?
going on, bro? Pacman just started his own podcast here at AcadianaCasts. What's it called, man?
The Poker Room Podcast.
The Poker Room. Man, we need to get some cigars in here. Carter, we can bring cigars in here.
Oh yeah, we can bring cigars in here. Also, we need to get a poker table as well. But that's part of the plan.
Yeah. I started this podcast maybe like 3 years ago, and I had a poker table, and that's
Wait, you had a poker table with the podcast?
yeah, that was like my desk.
Oh, shit, man. That's pretty cool. Man, I want one of those poker tables. We used to have one at the KA house that would turn out. What was it called? The lid would flip over and it'd be a complete poker table, and it was awesome. But the thing got wrecked. Being at a fraternity house, we should have kept a lot better care of that thing.
The drunk 20-year-olds.
I don't know whose idea it was to keep that in there. And folks, while we're at it, make sure to check out AcadianaCasts on Instagram, at AcadianaCasts Network on TikTok. I saw we changed the name.
Did we?
Yeah, it's AcadianaCasts Network now.
Okay.
Yeah. And at Lord Scotty D on Instagram. Carrie, what's your plug-ins, man?
CMC Magazine on Instagram.
CMC Magazine on Instagram. All right. Well, Carrie and I are going to talk some politics. Finally, somebody's going to sit across and talk some fucking politics with me, man. I'm happy.
Yes, sir. We can talk it.
All right, Mr. Carey. So you're a registered Democrat,
Yes, sir.
but you vote on policy,
Yes, sir.
as it should be.
Right.
Everybody I'm looking at. I do want to bring this up. And I'm going to start off again by saying the Republicans, we fucking failed during these midterms. This was embarrassing. This red tsunami ended up being a red sprinkle. I mean, it was a red sprinkle. That is why I did not do the show that you wanted me to do on Monday and talk about this red wave that was supposed to come, because I didn't have any idea what was going to happen. And it is going to pain me to say this because I love my boy, but in 2024, the Republican Party has to run Ron DeSantis.
They'd be foolish not to, based off of all the candidates that Trump backed that failed, and if you look at Florida, where DeSantis won the governorship, he barely won to get in, and then this time after it just people there like what he's doing, and the RNC would be silly to run someone else.
He turned Miami-Dade County red.
Yeah. How you turn Dade County red?
He turned Miami-Dade County red. They called the Florida governor's race within, 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was so soon.
30 minutes they called that race. And they called Texas, too, but Greg Abbott doesn't want anything to do with the presidency.
Florida also counts their mail-in votes before Election Day, where other states allow it to go for sometimes a week at a time.
Yeah.
A week after the election is still counting.
Yeah, that's something I have a problem with personally, the mail-in ballots.
Okay.
Do what Florida does, and we have a more effective system, in my opinion. But I think there's a bigger takeaway from this past week, and because the show's called Unwoken, but something was awoken in me about how much I do love politics and how much I missed it.
Okay,
Because I'm sitting there, man. I'm just refreshing. I have my laptop out, I have my iPad out, I have my phone out, I have a notebook, and I'm refreshing each one, and I'm watching all the different news outlets.
Okay.
And my friend goes, "Damn, you really like this stuff, huh?" Now I remember that I do. But it's the game itself, too. What we learned is that, okay, there was a reason Trump won in 2016.
And what was that?
Because people were tired of the establishment setting. They were tired of all the broken promises, all these politicians that just every single year you see the same ones. Same people, same ads, everything on TV. They wanted something different. They wanted a guy that couldn't be bought. They wanted a guy that said whatever he wanted to. And I got to give Trump a lot of credit because of him is why I kind of feel the need, not the need. I feel comfortable being able to be outspoken about politics without having to be so nice about it. Just saying what we want. Because people in general think whenever you speak your mind, people can tell, basically. And that's what he did. Now here's the bad thing. Not the bad thing, but politics is a changing game. So
right. It gets messy at times.
Yeah. That initial approach in 2016 of I'm going to speak my mind, nobody can tell me that I can't say this. Yeah, it worked in 2016. Now you got to produce the product, and you have to produce for the people. And he did. He delivered on a lot of things. But a lot of people were getting tired of the tweets. They were getting tired of the tweets. I was getting tired of the tweets because I had to spin them every time. People don't want a all-out Republican primary again, like they had with Jeb Bush. Yeah, it was easy to pick on Jeb Bush. I mean, come on, Jeb Bush. It's just his name is pretty funny, Jeb.
You'll never find a more entertaining primary, though.
Ever again, dude. It was fun to be able to do that because everybody hated Trump. And whenever everybody, even the Republican side, hated Trump, that gave people a sense of community to where all the politicians don't want this guy to win. So who do we go to? The guy who's mainly like us, and he's not like us in any way. But he's also, I don't want to get it twisted. I love my boy to death. I just think that the time and the era in which he ran, that was a one-time thing to kind of bring these politicians back to where, all right, we're fucking up. So I think the reason that Trump won to begin with was because people were tired of that said establishment and they wanted to dismantle it. Now the climate in politics is they want results. They don't want to see an all-out Republican primary brawl like they did before. DeSantis is clearly the guy.
Not to cut you off,
No,
Scott.
go ahead.
So you don't think Trump could come back and win again?
No.
Next time? Ever again?
I don't think this term, no.
Would it be due to the raid of his house, or
I think
even before that he still couldn't?
I think people are just tired of him.
You said, Scotty, he delivered.
he did deliver on a lot of things.
And I will say myself, he did deliver. What Trump said he was going to do, he's done. He kept us out of war with Putin. That's a different story.
Yeah.
At this day and age. What you think about that, Scotty? Touch on that.
I think that the tweets hurt him. I think that the attacks on your own party hurt him, especially for establishment Republicans. I mean, attacking DeSantis whenever he said he might run, that's not a good look because now Florida, I mean, and they did interview some Floridians saying that is your vote going to go with Trump or DeSantis? And a lot of them did say Trump.
Well,
Ron DeSantis is the Florida governor,
okay.
and him and Trump were tight, very tight-knit. But DeSantis started hitting all these media headlines of the Florida Don't Say Gay bill, which it never stated. He just stated that parents should know what is going on between teachers and their kids.
Right, as they should.
And they shouldn't be learning about same-sex marriage at the ages of kindergarten to fourth grade.
Or basically,
They should not.
It
They should not.
It wasn't even about just like same-sex marriage. It was just like any sort of sexual.
And it was kind of sexual preference, yeah. Which I don't remember in third or fourth grade ever talking about that shit. No, and we came out fine.
Well, in third and fourth grade, we didn't need anybody to tell us
Yes,
about it.
yes. And
speaking for myself, Scotty, I know about it.
Yeah,
Third,
man.
fourth grade,
It's like everybody's going insane, and that's where he came in. DeSantis came in and said, enough with this woke bullshit culture, enough with these transgender men going ahead and competing in female sports. We're going to stop it. I'm going to put bills. We're going to vote on it, and we're going to win it. And that's what he did, and that's issues right now that are hitting people. People want to know about the economy. People don't want to see that proved it. This past week proved that people are more focused on the economy, and they're not looking for a fucking bout of words on Twitter or words just calling people names. They want to see and hear policy, like what are you going to do so that way I'm paying $5 for gas come 2024 or paying about $100 for 3 items at a grocery store. What are you going to do to help me out? What's your policy? How's that going to help me? They don't want to hear a battle of wits anymore. They just want policy. They want action. I think that's something that Trump produced, a lot of action.
He did.
And Trump gave a lot of policy, how to put this, Trump's policies ended up helping a lot of people, and now they expect things to get done. So that's one way he helped a lot. But he needs to learn how to sometimes just shut up. All right, you're winning. You're winning in a lot of ways. Just shut up sometimes.
Well, you got to look at it from a guy in a Trump aspect. I have conquered everything, and this is the last. This being the president might have been on Trump's bucket list. I don't know if he thought he could have done better than any other president before, but I think a guy with power as Trump and the way his mind thinks, presidents on my bucket list. They're not doing right. I can run the country and do it better. And he done. He came to being president, and he definitely delivered because he was a businessman. It was more money in the economy when Trump was here. I don't even want to talk about the stimulants and the PPP, and that's a whole different another story. But Trump definitely delivered funds to the economy.
So
and
as
to
a
the people.
voter, what are you looking for in terms of policy?
As a voter, I'm looking for this. You got to cut back on some of the welfare. because everybody don't need welfare. Really do evaluation on it for the people that really need it, because the people that need it can't get it. They're the ones that's not getting it due to certain stipulations. Cut back on certain welfare for certain people that need it.
You saying maybe drug testing on welfare, or
No, not drug testing on welfare. Because if you're on welfare, you might need to smoke you something. Because times is hard. That's why you're on welfare. So no.
What if you exclude weed?
Yeah.
If you exclude
Weed is not a drug.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but like, what about drug testing for, I don't know, heroin or crack?
Heroin, yeah.
Oh, most definitely. You might have to drug test for that.
Yeah, let's exclude weed. Let's decriminalize weed, but drug test.
It is decriminalized. So, but to add that to like certain parameters, like drug testing, I think is probably important to do.
That would be
to differentiate between marijuana and heroin.
Yeah, because you could be prescribed it. Yeah, so I mean.
But how would you feel if you stopped this person from getting their benefits and they're a heroin addict and they didn't have anything in the refrigerator, and that one bite of whatever from the benefits could have saved their life?
From them getting taken off of welfare for being on crack cocaine?
Yeah. Well, their food stamps. Food stamps come with welfare. And so that, they don't have, an addict is not going to spend money as fluently on food. He's an addict. They're an addict. Well, he's going to be on what they're addicted to. So the food stamps is free benefits. So what if the free benefits is taken? They're already an addict. They might not eat, might perish. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, my standpoint from there is I'm not making the decisions for you of what you're going to do with your money. I'm all about free will for people. I think you have your own free will to decide what's most important at that. And if you're not meeting the requirements to get the government assistance and you're spending that money on crack cocaine knowing that damn well you need food to survive, or you're not even trying to get yourself help because you realize that this addiction is harming you and you're spending all your money on it, I can't help you at that point. And that's why I'm kind of numb to that, is that I can't make decisions for other people.
Right. We none can.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of like personal responsibility involved in things like this, but also to your point as well, I think that we need better support services for addicts.
I could agree to that 100%. 100%. So that's one of them. What's another policy that you kind of look in towards?
Max incarceration. It goes back to what we're talking about with the addicts.
Yeah.
Instead of locking everybody up for little petty crimes, weed, of course, it's not a drug. People shouldn't be getting incarcerated for weed. And small amounts of certain other substances, people shouldn't be going to jail for that.
Nonviolent
At all, most definitely. You save jail for killers.
Rapists.
Killers that, I want to say this like that. Well, killers, rapists, pedophiles. That's who jail is for. For people that have been in jail, I've been in jail myself before. And when you get in there and a guy of my substance, you'd be like, man, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Especially for a nonviolent crime, I don't belong here. Like, I'm real out of place. So that's one of my policies.
But you asked me something interesting, too. You said, would you ever vote for a Democrat?
Would you?
Along those lines. I mean, I kind of take the approach where if we're voting on policy like I do,
okay.
I mean, I'd hear people out, but the Democratic Party would have to stop being completely insane. Like California, for example, even though we don't vote in California policies,
right?
But their leadership is Nancy Pelosi. I think that whenever you have people who are the leaders of your party, they make up what your party stands for, correct?
Correct.
Whenever you segregate kids in the classrooms to teach them that they're all different from each other based on their skin color. Like, you teach the white kids, no matter what you do, you're always going to be an oppressor. You teach the black kids that no matter what you do, you're always going to be the oppressed. You teach Latino kids, no matter what you do, you're always going to be oppressed by them. Whenever you put kids in that mindset, how do you expect people to grow up and think that they're not going to be able to do anything they can in the world to change it? You're going to teach them that you're always a victim, and there's nothing you can do to fight or claw your way out of that situation that you're in. And I'm not okay with that, because that is the textbook definition of segregation. And it feels like we're turning the evolutionary clock backwards in terms of that. The way I grew up, or we grew up, is we weren't thinking about half of this shit that they talk about now. Gender, We weren't growing up talking about race. To think that Lafayette is a place, and I think you said this the other day, to think that Lafayette is this big old fucking racist town, I think is a horrible way to go about it. And it's people who leave and come back from these big cities that group and say, oh, y'all are so fucking backwards. No, just because we don't agree with you on some kind of social policy doesn't mean we're fucking backwards.
Right, correct. Everybody has their own freedom of speech.
Exactly. And I'm fine with you. I'm fine with you saying that we're backwards or calling me out for my policy beliefs. I'm fine with that. But what I do draw a line at is people use that racist word way too often.
They do.
They use it without any kind of context.
And that's funny, a melting pot like California will be going through that. But I've been there, and we all got friends there, and guys from there can't call a place like this racist because from what you're saying, there's racists out there, and I know I've been out there. It's racist everywhere. I think it starts in the house.
Oh, 100%.
Start with the parenting. Starts in the house.
I think you got to let kids be kids, grow up, take away those iPads from them too.
Most definitely.
Like if I decide, knock on wood, if I decide I have kids, a kid ain't having no damn iPad in front of his face. Not a chance, because they can go on YouTube, man, look up all the shit they want. They're easily influenced. Who's the most easily influenced people in society? It's young children. Young children. But in terms of policy with Democrats, what I could vote for, how could I vote for a Democrat? Man, I'd say that'd be pretty hard for me to be able to answer and say yes, because of, they'd have to stop being completely insane, in my opinion. But I'm not saying there never would be.
I think you could vote for a Democrat, just knowing like what you believe in and whatnot. I think you could vote for a local Democrat, like for a local election, like a mayor or something like that, just based off of what they're promising and saying they're going to do for your individuals. If it aligns with what you want to happen,
I'd probably, if there was no Republican running against them, I'd probably run against them.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Let me put it to you this way: I'd vote I'd vote for a Democrat if they were running against David Duke.
They had that election where like it was Edward Edwards versus David Duke, and it was like vote for the crook over the racist or something like that.
I'm going with Edward.
The crook.
Go with the crook.
I'll take Edward right now.
Well, shit. I mean, half of Louisiana politicians are crooks. Historically, it's one of the most corrupt states in the union.
Politicians in general, man.
Right.
Now, you know what city has it right? Youngsville.
Yeah, Youngsville has it right. Presidential
election is that right now what they're looking at is it could be a Trump, because Trump's going to announce his presidential run in Georgia this coming week.
For governor?
No, for president.
Okay, he's coming back at it?
He's going to come back at it.
Okay.
They don't want him to.
Would you give him your vote?
In a primary versus DeSantis? I hate to say it. I got to go with DeSantis. I got to go with my gut that how we're going to win in 2024.
And you have to understand, like, what DeSantis runs on as well he was like the direct opposite of the COVID regime with Florida opening things up. People don't realize how big the reaction to COVID and from government is going to play a part in this next presidential election.
100%. DeSantis was able to he had people that moved from California to Florida.
In New York.
New York, yeah. Everywhere. You turn in Fort Lauderdale area, that's a lot. That's where my grandma used to live. That's all the old northern snowbirds like Chicago, New York, all the retired old folks. They move into all these old retired neighborhoods. Well, they weren't able to do what they like to do. And whenever you're in a retirement neighborhood, they like to get out and go do their thing. They're like, we've worked our entire lives. We should be able to have the freedom that we want to.
Right. As they should.
And it's all blue. They usually vote all blue in Fort Lauderdale County, in Miami-Dade, around those areas. Government overreach is a thing that people do not like. And it was very, very heartwarming for me to see how red Florida turned out this year. Because I'm all about limited government. And that's what being red is about.
Okay.
That's my opinion on it.
When you lock people in your homes and mandate them to do things, that is not in the American blood.
And it's not congruent with their actions either. Nancy Pelosi getting caught.
Right.
Going to his hair salon. Who was it? Gavin Newsom got caught.
John Bel Edwards
got caught. They all got caught throwing these extravagant parties during the COVID lockdown.
Speaking of John Bel Edwards, how you like the current situation with him?
I don't like John Bel. I think he cost us a shitload of money with that pipeline for Exxon. Cost us a shitload of money.
Which pipeline?
The Exxon pipeline that was supposed to be routed from midway through Louisiana into Texas.
Okay, I know you were talking about the Keystone.
Oh, Keystone Pipeline. Oh, that's a different issue itself right there. I'm all about limited government regulation, and if businesses can afford to do something, I think you should let them. Now, if you're moving people out of their homes, that's one thing, but if in a job economy like Louisiana is, that's predominantly oil field, if you have that kind of how do you put this, man? That kind of opportunity, you have to take it.
Right.
People are hurting right here, down here, man. The oil field is hurting right now.
And it's based off of oil field here.
Yes, exactly.
Lafayette was what you call it? Kind of like a
hub
for all.
A hub for all that, yeah. Yeah, and whenever you have, New Orleans is the ones that's always going to vote blue. New Orleans hurt us. So did Bossier and Baton Rouge. So tell me how you like your LSU Tigers now. Baton Rouge people make me sick.
Still won.
Make me sick. But I think he is horrible on the economy, and I think he's brilliant, though, how he played the political game. That first election, he gave teachers a $1,000 raise a week before the election, and the second time he gave nurses a $1,000 raise. So I think he's brilliant in playing the game.
Well executed.
Well executed election. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit whenever you win. If you win and you play the game right, hey, more power to you. It's another thing that's a political game. You know, President Obama deported more people than Trump did.
Okay.
He deported more people than President Trump did. And under the Obama administration, that's where those quote-unquote cages were built. But all you see is the photo ops or Trump's cages.
Yeah, the detention centers.
Yeah.
The baby Guantanamo Bays.
Yes.
This is what I heard. I don't know.
That's just because the Republicans take a harder stance against immigration policy. So Democrats are smart to where they play into the hands of that and attack the Republican president at the time whenever they're not in power and saying Trump's locking kids in cages and separating them from parents, which I don't know. That's not a policy from anything I've read. But if you come into this country illegally, you have to be expected to face whatever punishment you're going to get. It's about accountability. Everything that I think with politics is about accountability and what are you doing to help me?
Right, correct.
In terms of macro level politics, strong military. That's what we need.
Okay.
I believe in terms of today, too.
Our military isn't strong?
Our military is the strongest in the world.
Guerrilla warfare or strike attack? Air Force?
Space Force.
Do you think we have enough guys?
In the Air Force?
No, just to go. War is not fought like that anymore.
No.
No, the 300 days and all that. But I think that's what Russia and China have on their mind with these big armies, man-to-man combat. But
well, that would be if there was China and Russia against us, that would be the end of the world.
You think so, Scott?
Yeah. In warfare, do you really think they're going to hold their nuclear weapons back?
Well, that'll be kamikaze. What we blowing each other up to die? Nobody really won the war.
Nobody really won.
I'm going to nuke you and kill myself so you don't achieve or get what you're asking for.
I think that's the only thing that's stopping them.
Yeah, that's my big thing too. Is like dictators, they don't want to lose power, know.
Yeah.
And if nuclear war is started between the United States of America and another country, be it Russia or China or another country that has a large nuclear arsenal, whoever starts it knows that their country is about to also get it back to them, which would probably result in them ruling over what? Nothing. They don't want that. They want that power. Power is everything.
Right.
That's the only thing stopping nuclear war in the world. Is power. That's it.
Tiny dick syndrome.
Yeah. Gotta be.
Power.
Gotta be, man. It's egotistical.
And I think part of me likes to think that deep down they realize nuclear war means the end of the world. And I think that people are human enough to realize that, and they won't do it. That's me. I like to give people credit whenever they shouldn't get it. But I think China's too smart and Russia's too smart to know going to war with us means you're going to war with every other country in the world.
Well, why is the media promoting World War III? Every channel you turn on
It's a good talking point.
MSNBC, World War III.
Sensational.
Al-Jihad, World War III.
It's like Bill Maher, and I usually give Bill Maher credit on here because I love watching his show. But one thing he did say this past week before the election is that this is your vote against democracy. This is your vote because if the Republicans win the Senate and the House, that means that democracy is gone as a whole. Like, that's a Democratic and a Republican talking point every single time, every single election. Every single election is the most important election of our lifetime. Okay, let's cut this shit. All right, let's talk some fucking policy. What you gonna do to get me out of inflation right now? Right. Why am I paying $100 to fill up my car? Okay, why am I spending 30% more at a grocery store?
I don't know. It's preposterous.
Tell me, how are you gonna get me out of this?
Well, I just try to help everybody get out of student loans.
I think that's a decision. You make the choice to go to college. I don't think that people who went to trade school should have to pay for my student debt. They made the smarter decision to go get a job before I got done with school, and I didn't get done with school.
How will we clean up this economic diverse we in right now, Scotty? How will we get out of debt?
How do we get out of debt?
Do you have the answers for that?
If I did, I'd probably be in the Oval Office. No, I'd be too young, but I'd probably be in Congress by now. No, I think obviously one of the things that we do is keep the corporate tax rate down, because whenever you see, that's a big difference between Republican Party and Democratic Party, is whenever you see the Democratic Party put the corporate tax rate like President Obama did at 37.4%, and then Trump comes in and drops it down to 21.8%, people look at it and say, oh, you're giving the rich a tax break. In all reality, it's an incentive for these companies. You take that corporate tax rate and bring it down to 21%. These companies keep their manufacturers here, their manufacturing factories here, and people have jobs. You put a corporate tax rate highly on them, what are they going to do? That's where you go to China, you go to Taiwan, and you get cheap labor. Give them a break. It's a trade-off thing. It's all about, what are you willing to give me for this? How can we meet in the middle somehow? And that's what we don't have anymore. We don't have a negotiation point on, let me help you help yourself, or let me help you help you.
Right.
We just have, all right, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the key element of it. And that's economic policy. Economic policy, I'm fine with talking about. One thing I do not give people the time of day for is the gender and the socially economic policies. Now, social policies, I mean, man, the social policies like gender pronouns and shit, should that be instituted in language? Crap like that. But in terms of economic policy, man, if I had the answer for you to get us out of debt.
So hold on. I got to go back to that. You say gender policies?
Gender policies, yeah, man.
Should be in.
No, gender policies should stay the fuck out of anything that we vote on.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, you touched on the transgender playing women's sports. That should be outlawed. How can a man play women's sports, Scotty?
They said they took hormones for 2 years, so it kind of deflated their bones.
No. Shit, no. There's still a man that's going to be a man that's going to die a man.
Yep. I agree. And that's the one thing we talk about a lot.
It's not Lisa. He will always be Lee.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that's one thing that the Democrats missed on, too. Democrats are now realizing that you can't keep going this route and pushing, like in California, the equality bill, saying that if you misgender somebody, that is punishable by termination or expulsion from a school. That ties into free speech at that point. I just think that's stupid. I don't even know why we're having that conversation in D.C. I don't know why we're having that conversation in any state government. Right. That has nothing to do. Now, whenever you start forcing it, now it starts. You bring Republicans in, which we have so much more shit we can be like having our time doing with our time. There's so much shit we can be doing with our time rather than talk about fucking gender pronouns.
Right.
And I think it's just a power grab to try to say that they can dictate free speech.
Right. And we shouldn't even be talking about that now. But where have that come from, Scott?
It's because people like me did not stand up to begin with and say something about it. We, as the Republican Party, sat back when all this gender pronoun shit was happening and said, it'll die down, just a little phase. They ain't going to get rid of free speech. No, Jordan Peterson called it. He called it. You allow them to get a little bit of pressure and win a small battle. Government doesn't know when to stop. You give them a little leeway, they don't know when to stop. So if I would have stood up or any other politician would have stood up and said, fuck you, fuck your pronouns. I'm going to say what I want. If you have a beard, you can't be a fucking woman. You can't be a bearded woman unless you're in the circus. Fuck that.
Most definitely. Who wants to see an old ugly bitch with a beard on? You know.
I think that we just sat back and we didn't use our voices to put an end to all this shit to begin with, and now we're biting the bullet for it. It's just another thing, QAnon. All right, man. Look, I was struggling with this on the way here. For the life of me, for the sake of human prosperity, for American prosperity, please stop talking about Jewish people with lasers controlling everything. Please stop saying Trump's going to be back in office at the end of the year. He's not. He's not. This is getting on a level of, I'm not going to be like the Democrats and sit back and be quiet while the fucking party takes a whole left turn. You want to win? You want to win in 2024? Control this QAnon bullshit. That's what's hurting us. You saw it happen. All the QAnon backers, all these congressional candidates that believed in the QAnon stuff lost. They lost. We shot ourselves in the foot. That's what we did, and we're going to lose in 2024 and continue to lose until we get a hold of this shit. So don't be like them. Learn from history. Learn from the party that you're fighting against and fucking win. Don't make me have to go run for Congress, man. I don't want to do that yet. I mean, I'm enjoying my life. It's pretty nice if you ask me. It's calm. It's relaxing. And I get to do this. I can't sit across from you if I do that, Pakman, because I'm going to be in D.C. stuck with all those bureaucrats. I don't want to be around them. They don't have beards.
Right. People with no beards aren't cool.
Let's dive into your background.
Well, go ahead. Dive deep.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Sunset, Louisiana.
All right. Opelousas High?
No, Beauchesne High.
Beauchesne High.
Yeah. But then
Arnaville?
Beauchesne High. But when I got to my junior year, I had, growing up, the way I grew up, you know, I grew up with my mom. I grew up with my dad. My dad left when I was 8. But my mom had some influential brothers. I had an uncle who was a disaster relief agent for State Farm. So he would go all across the United States, everywhere. He would come back, sit down, chop up game with me, put me on political stuff and how the world would be, and trying to groom me for the world. You know, and I had a few other uncles that was doing influential things. So we would go, being that I have relatives everywhere. So I would take trips here, take trips there, so I was able to see things different and come back home and tell my friends who never been anywhere. So I might spend 2 weeks in St. Louis for the summer, 2 weeks in Port Arthur, 2 weeks in Houston, in the trip in Tampa, and back on the Sunset. And I come back, you know, I got my clothes, my new gear from out of town, and they'd be like, oh, that's nice. What? Talk about the trip where I've been. So I had a different, you know, broad mindset. So when I got to my junior year in high school, I was fresh back from a vacation. That summer I spent maybe about extra month in Houston for the summer. And I liked it. People were showing me love. It was different. Like you said, you know, when I come back home, it's yay or nay. I had a variety of everything.
I like yay.
Yeah, you know, I had a variety of everything, man. So I'm like, I like this, you know. I felt the love. I went to the orientation with my cousin at J.D. Frank Dobie High School in Houston. They was on the verge of building a new one, but we went to the old one. This had to be maybe 2003. Yeah, 2003. So I'm a junior. So I'm like, well, no, 02, because 02, 03 junior, 03, 04 senior. Yeah, so I went out there and I was astonished. Football fields had turf. They had a swimming team. I loved it there because I always swim. I had an uncle that was in the Navy and he taught me how to swim. I always liked to swim. So I was astounded by that. Elevators at the school. I'm like, man, this is a place where I need to be. So I tried to enroll myself, went to orientation. I came back down here. Mom was like, nah. My mom was freshly married to my stepdad, but calling him my stepdad would be an understatement because he raised me like I was his, and that's my dad. So I'm going to have to say I was blessed with 2 dads. So mom was freshly married and didn't want me to go to Houston. She was like, I'm freshly married. I can raise my son myself, you know. My auntie wanted me to go stay out there with her. She knew I liked it. And things probably would have been different if I would have went, but I didn't go. So I came back my junior year, back to Beauchesne. Wasn't feeling it at all.
No, not much to do in Arnoldville, huh?
Wasn't feeling it at all. I felt on purpose, thinking, rebelled against my parents, thinking that it'd be like, oh, he failed. He'd have done better if I'd have let him go to where he wanted to go. No, you go back to bullshit. I'm in 11th grade again. My class is seniors now. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm not staying an extra year at this motherfucker either. So I need to come up with a way. And I had a cousin and a good friend who's still my dear friend today. That summer, they had already graduated. They was juniors. Everybody's like, man, you heard what Whoop-de-Whoop graduated? And one go to Northwestern and one go to Lamar? I'm like, nah, that ain't true. I dug a little deeper into it because, like I said, one was my mutual friend and one was my cousin. And sure as shit stink. They took the homeschool test to their house and got a high school diploma. So I'm like, all right. Y'all think y'all going to leave me behind? My class, I'm just going to bullshit around. I'm a senior too. Second year junior. And I graduated. And that's what's that.
So what year did you graduate?
2004.
All right. I graduated 13, so we're not too far off here.
No.
But bullshit. All right, so you graduate. What do you do after you graduate?
After I graduate, I'm trying to find myself working in and out jobs because at that time you can't stay in the house anymore, and benefits stop. So I'm trying to find me in and out job. My parents want me to go to Houston now. I'm like,
not for you.
Nah, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm a man now. I could do
what you want.
The club scene, coming in and doing all that, working in and out jobs. But I really was trying to, in the beginning, I wanted to start my own, go to recording school, kind of start my own record label.
Like
music. And I only had one family member that had faith in me, was my auntie. And, she's another person, very influential person. Her husband, which is my uncle, is the first black mayor of Sunset. He just won.
Who's that?
Charles James.
Charles James?
Yeah, that's my uncle. He's first black mayor of Sunset, never was done. And his wife, my auntie, Shirley James, won Principal of the Year numerous years. But she knew I had an ear for music, and that's what I wanted to do. She was the only one kind of, believed in me with that. My mama was like, go get you a job and all that. So I was going to try to go the real estate route. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I want to do real estate, but how can I start doing real estate and I ain't got no money? I didn't look at it as being a realtor. I wanted to kind of skip over that part, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Music, though. You got me intrigued now because I like my music.
Right.
All right. What's your thoughts on music nowadays? What kind of music do you listen to?
All types.
What's your favorite genre?
Listen to hip-hop, reggae.
All right. Let me ask you this. What do you think about rap nowadays compared to, I'm not going to say the 90s, which is the golden era.
Okay.
Early 2000s. What do you think about the music nowadays, the artists nowadays?
All right. The artists nowadays, to me, is very less artistry, and it's repetitive sounding.
Thank you.
And it's repetitive content. It's less originality.
Top 5. What's your top 5 artists? So you like lyrics?
I love lyrics.
Lyrics, me too. I like a story. I like to hear a story. All right. Your top 5 rap lyricists of all time.
Okay, I'd have to go with Big L. You familiar with Big L?
It's not LL Cool J or Luda, huh?
No, Big L is a rapper from Harlem.
Never heard of Big L.
Flamboyant Records. He got shot. And let me tell you how deja vu. He got shot at a dice game. And that's just how
we used to play
Takeoff.
I can play some dice
just
now.
Died right now. You think people would learn from the dice game, but people been getting killed at dice
People
games.
get pissed over that shit, man.
So,
people get pissed over dice games.
Right. I'm glad I know how to play.
We used to play in the locker room all the time.
Yeah, I don't know how to play.
All right, number 4.
I would say Biggie. I like Biggie.
Biggie at 4.
Biggie at 4.
All
For
right.
me.
For you. All right, 3.
Scarface.
Scarface is good. On My Block. Yeah.
I'll go with Scarface.
All right. 2.
Now that's when it gets a little, I'm going to go with Pac at 2.
Pac at 2. Okay. Number 1.
Who touched me the most? Because that's what that would be. Let me see. This is a deep one. You got to watch what you say on it.
Yeah. This is
artist.
heated. It gets heated, man.
I don't know if I would say I have a number 1 or a favorite.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, who? I wouldn't say that because not one artist was stuck in my rotation. Always switched up. But I would have to say, only because I'm supposed to say this, I'm going to take Pac and put him to 1. We're gonna move Pac up to 1.
All right.
And we're going to put Andre 3000 at 2.
Andre 3000 is good. Old School Outcast, yeah.
Old School Outcast.
Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music, yep. I have that whole album, ATLians, yeah. All right. Let me see what you think about this one, all right? So 5, I'll go Eminem.
Okay.
You got to put Eminem somewhere.
Yeah, M's in there.
4, I'll put Cube.
Okay.
3, I'll put Pac. 2, I'm going to put Nas.
Okay, I like Nas.
And then 1, I'll put Biggie.
Okay. Nas is going to be in, but I didn't.
He's so underrated,
I'm a
man.
Nas fan, definitely. I am a Nas fan. Anybody knows me knows I'm a Nas fan.
Now, if we're talking rap groups now, I put Outkast at 2. Well, rap groups, I put NWA at 3. I put Outkast at 2. And then 1, A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
With Fife, yeah.
So that's 3.
Top 3.
Can you give me 2 more?
Yeah, at 4, I could probably put the Far Side.
Okay.
It's out of West LA.
Okay.
It's not known group, man, but they're really good music. And then Naughty by Nature. Well, I'll put Naughty by Nature in top 5 for sure. Hip Hop Array, OPP.
What about the Wu-Tang?
Oh shit, dude! All right,
Well, Bones Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, I love Wu-Tang.
I wouldn't put Bone Thugs in my top 5.
Oh, I love Bone too.
I'd put. All right, let me rearrange that then, because now we're talking.
Yeah, you can't forget about the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I cannot believe I forgot about Wu-Tang.
How dare you?
I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself, honestly. I'm gonna move out the Far Side. All right. Number 1's always gonna be A Tribe Called Quest for me.
Okay.
2, I'll put Outkast. 3, I'll go back to Naughty by Nature would be at 3. Wu-Tang will be 4. And NWA would be 5. And that's hurtful for me to say.
Okay.
That NWA's 5. That's hurtful. Because, I mean, rap groups itself, I just think that NWA, I think that after number 1, the rest is just a tie for 2. Then you can have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But, yeah, man, nowadays it's too much mumbling for me.
Right.
And it sounds so generic. Now, J. Cole.
I like J. Cole.
Kendrick.
Yes.
And older Drake. Good. Lil Wayne, obviously.
This new Drake album is pretty good, though.
Yeah, you're not feeling
With
it?
21 Savage?
I haven't heard the whole thing yet.
It makes you feel good. There's a lot of parody behind it, making memes, but
Oh, yeah.
there's a good vibe behind it. It makes you feel good,
I'm
man.
so set in
I think
my
people need to feel
set
good.
in my ways of my old school music, dude. Like, I'm so set in stone of what I listen to. Then and there, I always have either 90s hip hop or 90s rap on in the car, and I just can't trust a 2016 plus playlist.
Okay.
I like Kodak Black,
Okay.
but lyrically, there's only 3 right now that I can say actually are great lyricists.
And who's are those
J.
guys?
Cole, Kendrick, Schoolboy Q too.
I like Schoolboy. Yeah. most
Schoolboy
definitely.
Q.
Schoolboy, Absol.
Those 3 guys are
J. Cole.
what I listen to on a consistent basis.
Okay, what about 38 Special? You ever heard of him?
I haven't heard about him.
Check 38 Special out if you're looking for lyrics. Benny the Butcher.
Mm.
If you go old school rap, Coogee rap. You ever heard of Coogee
Yeah, I
rap?
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever heard of Camp Low?
Yeah, I heard of Camp Low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Camp Low, Lucchini. Yeah. The old school. Man, you know how I learned about a lot of these old school groups too? Is Madden 13 had a lot of A Tribe Called Quest on there. And NBA 2K always has the best soundtrack there is. And FIFA used to be pretty good about it too. But that's how I heard all these old school rappers until Biggie. Biggie was always just Biggie.
Man, rap music need to give a shout out to EA Sports then, huh?
Yes. Yes, dude. They definitely do. Because they give a lot of people their startup. Is EA still with NBA 2K, though?
I don't know. Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I can Google it.
Please.
I don't think they are anymore. I think NBA, I think 2K just took off on their own brand.
What year?
That'd have to be almost, 13 or 14?
It's Visual Concepts.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not with EA anymore, yeah.
It's big.
Were they ever with EA?
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they were. I remember the 2K with Ben Wallace, though, whenever the Pistons had that stud of a team that didn't win. They won the championship, and then they lost to the Lakers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right. Let's get into it a little bit. So we just got the music down, all right. And then we were talking about how you graduated, you were working job from job, you were looking at starting your own record label, and you want to go into real estate, but you realize real estate's a little bit different.
Right.
So what happened with this label? Did you end up going with it?
No, I didn't have the money. Like I said, the only person, I was going to a school called Full Sail. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Full Sail. But how did you guys hear of Full Sail?
What's his name? Dan, the sports announcer.
Dan Patrick?
Yeah, Dan Patrick, yeah.
Well,
I listen to Stephen A. Smith every morning, bro. I don't listen to Dan Patrick.
I didn't. Oh, Dan's a good guy.
I like him in Adam Sandler movies.
He's in all Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, like in 2003, 2004, and prior, Full Sail was running an ad in the back of the Source magazine in XXL. If you want to go to recording school or become a recording engineer, something with the arts, you could call them and see if you can apply. And I applied for a Pell Grant. Of course, nobody wanted to give me $14,000, but my auntie had a little faith in me, and it wasn't enough. And the dream with the record label kind of went down the drain.
So what'd you do from there? So the record label's out the way, real estate's out the way for you.
Out the way.
So you're just sitting there. You're sitting there like every 18, 19-year-old sitting there thinking, what am I going to do with my life? What do I like to do? Or how am I going to go around and get by?
Right. Which was the ins and outs jobs. But music was still part of me. I had a friend. Me and him was in it together. Shout out Jody Awesome. And he's an excellent producer. He learned on his own, self-taught, went to school. He moved to Roanoke, Virginia. So me and him would stay in touch. And the music would always make me feel good. And he would produce beats, and I would sit there and help him produce beats. And we'd go back and forth about what we were trying to do next. Internet radio station of some sort. I always loved the podcasting. So finally, down the line, time come, stay active. I got me an artist. I like, oh, there they go. They want me to manage this dude. After doing a few little club promotions, doing local shows here, bringing artists, showcases. Had me a little artist. I'm like, I really don't want to be a manager or nothing. I took responsibility of being a manager of the artist. We put together a little, like I said, a little EP before the artist, he got himself in trouble. I'm like, well, that's kind of money down the drain. But we started shooting a lot of vlog footage. So I'm like, how can I still stay active with what I love? Well, it's time to do podcasts. I switched over to podcasts.
So you did the podcast before they were podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing podcasts for at least 4 years ago.
Let me ask you this. Do you know Morgan Marcello?
Yeah. He's on one of my podcasts.
Yeah, he's on a few of mine. Yeah.
That's my boy. Shout out Morgan and Ariel Dingo.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen Morgan. Morgan came over to the house. Still comes over to the house. And, yeah, that's my boy, man. You need to get him in here.
Yeah, most definitely.
We met each other doing a show, actually. Driving his old school Corvette.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. Let's take a second, too, to put the camera on Carter to see how he's looking today, how he's feeling.
A little hungover.
Yeah.
I had Friendsgiving last night with a bunch of my friends, and we partied hardy, as the kids say.
If y'all wondering, that's why Carter is not as vocal today.
Yeah, that's also my third podcast in a row.
Yeah.
So same thing with him. So
yeah, I know.
He's still locked in.
Yeah, we're just picking on you, bro.
Almost definitely. I'm gonna catch you slack.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I also smoked a blunt earlier.
Yeah.
A little sleepy.
What you think about those policies, Scotty?
What's that?
The Louisiana policies on
Marijuana? Well, I think it's
I noticed you had the guy in here the last time.
Yeah, Logan Tyler. Very and happy birthday Panda too. Panda's on a cruise ship too. But him and Panda work together doing this system now that rolls 1,400 blunts in 5 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, they have it patented and everything. They're doing big things with that. But policy-wise, I think it's crazy now, man, because if you have a medical marijuana card in Louisiana, you can't hold a firearm.
So that still will be considering having a...
That'd be considered having it's like a psychological disorder, which means you can't hold a firearm. So you're going to have to pick and choose what you want more now at that point. But I think that I don't think weed should be illegal at any cost, and I don't smoke it. So, I mean, I think that's one of those things that ties into more power to the people. If you can grow it, it's natural, then There's no reason that you should tax it out of the people.
Have you ever tried CBD?
Yeah.
What you think about that?
I like CBD. I don't take it very often, though, but I mean, yeah, if they made it more, if they made it into a pod cartridge, we could talk.
Right. We were speaking on that. I'm in the making of that.
CBD pod?
CBD pods.
Oh, dude, I'll invest.
CBD pods. We need to get that done.
I wonder how much goes into having to get that regulated, though. It's another thing, that all the regulation, man. But so what are you looking for in terms of your guest? Whenever you have guests on the show, what are y'all going to be talking about?
We're going to touch about the beginning of their career, like their whole story. A lot of people in the 337 area. And it's going to be people from much different places, but the pinnacle point is the 337 area, Acadiana. They never had a podcast before. So it's going to be like, you know, I don't want to say Vlad, because, you know, a lot of people talk ill about Vlad, but when you go on a show like Vlad, you're giving your story.
Vlad TV.
So I'm allowing people to give their story from the beginning, when they started their creative process.
And he has the most interesting people on, man. He has the most interesting guests there are. I mean, he had didn't he have Trey the Truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Trey the Truth on. I think that was an awesome conversation because he was asking Trey, and he had Sammy the Bull and Michael Franzese have a sit down across. You know who those two guys are?
Yeah.
Sammy the Bull, man, dude, sold out John Gotti, but I mean, he had two Italian Sicilian mafia guys sit across, and they got heated. But he asked Trey the Truth, "What's the difference between a gang and the Sicilian mafia?" And he said, "Well, you get out the car in a suit, and the Cadillac, you have somebody open it for you, and you walk through the hood, people don't know what's up." But he said there's more structure in the mob.
Yeah,
now.
way more structure.
But nowadays, one can make the argument that there isn't as much structure in the mob. So there's really not. Well, I'm not going to get into that.
Does the mob still exist?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. Let's talk for another show.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Yeah, I'm allowing people to get their stories out. You know, anybody that has something to say. You know, artists, musicians, small business owners, politics. If I can't handle them, I'll ship them on to Scotty. Scotty will handle them.
Man, and that's one thing that I've been trying to do that you are doing brilliantly is focusing more on the Lafayette area because there are so many creative people here. There really are. They don't know how to take that jump or take that leap. And if we could promote more people like that, Lafayette could become that next source of entertainment, which it already is with music and food. But it could become something of, you know, a podcaster's region. Like people out of Lafayette, you're getting all these shows out of
Lafayette. Hell yeah. It goddamn better be if I'm making this fucking company. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Definitely will.
Yeah.
Lafayette the 337 area will be the next media hub. We're based off of tourists in Louisiana. So we have to have something back here that brings the people back to the tourist attraction.
Why
we at?
Why they coming here? Why are they coming here? Because there's so much talent and uniqueness here in South Louisiana.
Yeah, there is.
And it's high time we fucking promote it from all sectors of our communities.
That's why a lot of these reality TV shows, man.
Yeah,
a group of my friends and I, we made the final cut on one, and then two of the people backed out because we're fucking crazy. I mean, you have so much personality in people here.
Well, one thing about us, man, we can go anywhere and make it.
I mean,
we don't mind getting our hands dirty.
No.
Boots on the ground. That's just something installed in us. You know what I think, though? We're missing a few things to get it back, to get it to how we need it.
What are we missing?
Of course, we're putting boots on the ground for it to be a media hub. We need more venues for local music and music, period. Just the arts.
Getting one in Youngsville.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need more things to do. We're known for food, so let's keep putting emphasis on the food. But let's make us, you know how they got a club live in Miami?
Yeah.
That'd be nice if we had one around here, man, you know. We got enough land to do all that. We definitely we used to have a few strip clubs. Why are there no strip clubs anymore?
Man, I don't go to strip clubs. You know why? I don't agree you should get the car started if you ain't going to drive it.
Well, hey. You know how it goes.
I don't know, man. 156 for a 15-minute lap dance? I don't know.
You know. Well,
don't ask me how I got that exact number.
Well, Scotty, you said you said
real quick.
You said you don't believe in letting the car start without driving.
Yeah,
so
I learned
you believe sex working should be legal. They're pushing for that in California, by the way.
Oof, man, that is. I'd say that out of all the things you'd have to regulate, if you're going to do that, you better regulate the shit out of that. I mean, me personally, I'm not paying for sex.
Right.
I think if
I would not respect the guy. I still, he's paying for pussy, but fuck, he's
you can.
taking care of his
It's
needs.
your choice. Go ahead, man. Hey, look, I'm not going to lose respect for you. I'm just going to say you need some game work.
Right. But think about this though. From a stone night, you stone a night. There's nothing to do. You got 3 strip clubs. Like Carter say, you having a friendship giving. Somebody might be like, hey, let's hit the strip club. It's just things to do, entertainment. We need more entertainment here.
I'd rather go to one where I don't know a lot of the people there, though. A lot of the people working there.
Hey, it might be a night where they imported a few chicks.
Don't they have the
Desperados used to do it. Have a special girl comes. Michael's try to do their thing.
The stripper Olympics, yeah. And hey, look. Hey, it takes a lot of confidence to be able to be a stripper, to be able to go do that line of work. What we consider being a stripper sex work, though? Yeah, I mean.
No, that's not sex work. That's entertainment.
You don't
stripping.
What about private dances, though?
That's still entertaining. That's entertaining.
Now, I will say this about strip clubs. The best one I ever been to was in Dallas.
Okay, yeah, Dallas has
Holy
monumental
fuck,
strip
was
clubs.
that a night, boy. That was a night.
But, you're in the South. Some say the Wild Wild West. It's the Wild Wild South. It gets wild down here. I'm not going to say 337 because Lake Charles and Sulphur have their strip clubs. But the Lafayette metropolitan area, if you follow me, Scotty.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm
needs a
disapproving.
butt naked.
I'm not going to say I disagree with putting strip clubs here. I won't say that.
We need at least one strip club.
They need to clear off lipstick.
Nude.
Fully
nude.
They need to bulldoze that old lipstick building.
And come back up with something new.
Come back with something else different.
Yeah,
because
prime location.
that thing is an eyesore.
It is, but had very, very legendary nights. Nights to remember at Lipsticks. I'm not the only guy. I'm speaking for numerous people.
They closed down before I was old enough.
Okay. See? You missed the memory. How can we rehatch your memory if there's no entertainment?
Well,
you spoke on Greek Fest, not to cut you off. The Greeks with UL. I went to a UL game the other day. They played Troy. No one was there. I'm like, man, why is no one here? And then you said, because there's no Greeking. Do they still give the Greek show here? Because that was legendary. People would come from all over to the Greek show that was given here.
I don't know if they do or not. No, they don't.
That's what I'm basically speaking on.
Yeah,
the attractions.
Yeah.
We need more attractions. More things to do here. To uplift the whole thing is going to take a lot. We have the musicians. We have the actors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking, we have the people that can shoot the video for you, be the producers. We have the platform. We just need a place to place it, to show the talent, for things for people to do. Because you're going to need that.
We have to get that right,
yes,
man.
Yes, sir.
No, man, what we're going to do is we're going to have you on quite a few times, man, because you're a good conversationalist and your show's going to do pretty damn well. Folks, thanks for tuning in again to Unwoken here with Pacman James. What's the name of your show you're hosting again, sir?
The Poker Room Podcast.
The Poker Room Podcast with Pacman James on the AcadianaCasts Network. Carter Semino behind the scenes, as always, producing this fine show. I'm Scott Davis. This is Unwoken, telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you motherfuckers who don't want to listen. Take care.
This podcast is powered by AcadianaCasts Network. Go to AcadianaCasts.com for more South Louisiana sourced content.